Another question we get a lot is it better to take one blend or herb at a time? And the answer to that is not necessarily, but in a lot of cases, yes, especially if you don't know what you're doing. So the best thing to do if you're new to herbalism, if you're new to these herbs, is to try really, one herb maybe on its own, or one of the pre-blended formulas that we've already got here on its own. And sometimes I send out little recipes for different combinations of herbs that you can do, and if you want to try one of those, then that's great as well. And really just get used to the herbs on their own, and then you can start blending, right, as you become more used to them. And by the way, what's better in terms of understanding a herb, right? Reading a book about that herb or just taking that herb? It's got to be taking it, right? And this is the Taoist mentality, by the way. Less pouring information into your head, more doing with your body, right? That's what really gets results. So I would highly encourage that you try these herbs and do so individually or just with one blend at a time to begin with, just to kind of understand and feel and notice and be aware of what it does in your body. However, if you have already done that and you're at the point now of thinking of experimenting and you're kind of asking me for permission, the answer is yeah, by all means, experiment, right, with the herbs. Try a combination together. So in general, so mixing, say, several herbs together, especially if they have similar qualities, so if you want to mix together some ginseng and astragalus, for instance, or some schizandra or hoshiwu, something like that, something that has similar properties, that's going to be pretty safe to do, and that's going to be, like nicely complementary and not an issue. If you're talking about taking completely different herbs together, that can be a little bit more of an issue, right? But usually an issue as in it might not taste very good or it might not work as well, but it's unlikely to really be a problem, right? Although of course, you've got to clear everything with your doctor, especially if you have those aforementioned medical conditions. In terms of the blends like Rejuvenate, Strength, I would say in a lot of cases it's better to have them one at a time, because each of them is kind of keyed or attuned to go into one organ system and one meridian at a time. So if you were to blend them together, you're kind of giving your body more to do simultaneously. However, if you've decided that the, say, 3 blends are good for you and you can only really get around to making herbs once a day, it's better to have all 3 at once in 1 cup than it is to forget about 2 of them, right? If you need the herbs or you feel you benefit from the herbs, then it's better to just blend them, right? So ideal to have them separate, the blends, but okay to mix them together. In terms of partnerships, some of them work better together than others. So Rejuvenate and Strength together, for instance, make quite a good partnership. Serenity and Immune together, make quite a good partnership. Cleanse is probably the only one which I'd say you'd be better off really having on its own, because it has such a different effect. It's cleansing rather than tonifying, like the rest of them are. So I hope that gives some clarity on that. So basically, you can do, but I would recommend having them separate, especially if you're starting. There's the answer in a nutshell.